Hello readers and welcome to Tell Between Tales. Today we have a treat for you. We are going over the ultimate book box subscription guide. I have done all the research for you. I have gone through 16 different book box subscriptions and we are going to go over genre, what they offer, price, where they ship, and I've even compiled lists of several of the most popular subscriptions, book club picks for the last year so that you can get a glimpse into what kind of books they are picking. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So book club subscriptions tend to come in one of two categories. They're either books that have been completely decked out, such as this one here from Illumicrate, where they have the beautiful gold foiling on the cover and the beautiful end pages have all been printed out, and also they offer the sprayed edges. This is usually a higher quality book with a lot more focus on artistic quality and design. The other subscription boxes tend to focus less on giving you a special edition book, and they just focus on picking out any kind of hardcover book from many different genres. And this one is from Once Upon a Book Club, and as you can see, it is just a basic hardcover book. And so these are the two different types of book club subscription boxes that you can get. The ones that are the special edition ones, and then the ones that are more of the regular not decked out books. As you can imagine, the ones that don't offer all of the special sprayed edges and the gold foiling and author signatures and all the extra artwork tend to be quite a bit cheaper. But we are going to go through all of them one by one, and I will let you know exactly what is offered. We are going to start today with one of the most popular book box subscriptions, Illumicrate. And that is because this is the only book box subscription that I am currently subscribed to right now, so I have some of the most experience with it. Illumicrate offers two different options. You can get their book box with just their book only, which is $27 for the book only plus shipping. If you want to get their book box that has the book only plus their goodies, that is going to be $38 US plus shipping. Unlike some of their competitors such as Owlcrate and Fairy Loot, they only offer one traditional fantasy subscription. They do not divide this up into young adult and adult. They also offer two other unique subscriptions, which are their Afterlight subscription, which is going to be their Romantasy and Romance subscription, plus their Evernight subscription, which is their horror subscription. That one comes quarterly. Now next year, Illumicrate is also going to be offering the Starbright edition, and I'm really excited for that one. I hope I get in. It is on the wait. I am on the wait list. They are starting it up next year. That is their sci-fi subscription, and that is going to be quarterly. Now let's take a look at what kind of books they have offered over this past year. So if you look at this image, you can see that in January they offered Voyage of the Damned, February To Cage a God, March Fathom Folk, April To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods, May Goddess of the River, June Of Jade and Dragons, July The Phoenix Keeper, August Mistress of Lies, September A Dark and Drowning Tide, October next month they will be doing Until We Shatter, and then in November they will be coming out with The Last Hour Between Worlds, and December is Hamajon Luck. These books are a variety of adult and young adult books. They kind of switch it up. So as you can see from these pics in this picture, we have 3 out of 12 have the mythology tag, 2 out of 12 are labeled as sci-fantasy, 2 out of 12 have the dark or gothic tag on them, 2 out of 12 are Asian literature, 3 out of 12 have to do with dragons, 8 out of 12 are LGBTQ books, and 10 out of 12 have some kind of romance or romantasy tag on them. So it does appear to be more heavily romantasy leaning than high fantasy and epic fantasy leaning. This is probably due to the trend where romantasy is very, very popular right now. Also, you can go to their website and you can go to their shop. They do come out with special edition books that you can buy separately, separate from the subscription. These tend to be a little bit higher priced than the subscription tends to be. This one also, you have to go through their UK website to purchase their special edition books. You cannot go through their US website. Moving on, we are going to do Once Upon a Book Club next. Illumicrate does have a wait list, so if this is something that you're interested in, you can always sign up for the wait list and decide whether or not you want to get on it later when your time comes. They offer 11 skips per year. They are one of the companies with the most generous skip policy. This is something that is very important to me, as nobody really likes to spend money on books that they're not very interested in. The only thing is that you cannot skip the month that you sign up in. So after you have waited on the wait list and you're offered a subscription spot and you sign up, you do have to get the book in the month that you are signing up in. After that, you can skip up to 11 times per year. We are going to jump over to Once Upon a Book Club because this is the subscription service that I bought for my middle schooler for Christmas last year. I bought her a 6-month subscription and she absolutely loved it. Once Upon a Book Club is unique in 2 ways. One, they actually offer a middle grade subscription. This is the only book club service that I have been able to find that offers not only adult and young adult, but also middle grade. So kudos to them. They have changed it. When I bought it for my daughter last Christmas, it was coming out every month with their middle grade subscription. Now it has gone to bi-monthly, and you will be getting a book box every other month if you're interested in the middle grade subscription. These are the Once Upon a Book Club picks that came out in my daughter's middle grade subscription. So you can see here is that we have 3 hardback covers. And then we also have 3 paperback covers, which is interesting. So they don't always offer you a hardback copy. But what is unique about them is that they do not offer book-only subscriptions like a lot of these other sites do. They offer only the book plus the goodies, but they do something a little bit different. Unlike the other sites where they'll give you a box of a lot of random book merchandise that goes with different fandoms, they actually put little post-it notes in your book and they'll say, open present number 2 now. And on the present it'll say, open at page 35. And so when you're reading along, the gift that you get actually has to do with what you're reading, which was really, really cool. And it was really motivational for my daughter to read these books. She has read every single one of these books because she really wanted to open up all of her gifts. They tend to focus on a lot of different genres. So they are not strictly fantasy or strictly romantasy leaning. They go over contemporary fiction, fantasy, literature, mystery, and thrillers, and all sorts of different genres are going to come in your book box for Once Upon a Book Club. The books that they do pick out, they are regular books. These books are not decked out. They're not special edition books. They do not have sprayed edges. They're just a regular copy, and they do put their little sticker for Once Upon a Book Club on the front of the book. Now let's take a look at pricing. They are one of the more expensive book club book boxes, as the adult book box is $49.99. The YA and the middle grade book boxes each are also $49.99. Now you can get the combination of both the YA and adult and get a little bit of a discount, and that will come in at $89.99. There also is no wait list for Once Upon a Book Club, so that is one of the perks as well, that you can go ahead and sign up right now. The reason why I think that their price is a little bit more expensive is because after going through and seeing these 6 book boxes, I do think that their items are a little bit higher quality. They range in size, and they range in quality, and they range in what they are. So my daughter received things from like a bag of candies all the way up to this really cool interactive cloud that she can hang up on her ceiling, and it's got a remote, and you can change all the lights, you can change the sounds, and you can program it, and it was actually a really, really cool high quality gift that she was very excited about. And so I think that might be why that their boxes are a little bit higher. I think that they just might have a little bit higher quality items in their boxes. But it is still $50 a box every month. They do offer a little bit of a discount if you get their 3-month or their 6-month subscriptions, so that is an option to look out for as well. All right, now we are going to mention some lesser known book club subscription services. The first one I'm going to mention is called Obsidian Descension. They mainly focus on dark romance, and they are coming out very soon with their Autumn Moonlight box, which you can get on the wait list for now. And they are focusing on contemporary romance and romantasy, and that will be coming out in February of 2025. The book only is going to be $45 for a book, and the book plus your goodies is going to be $65. The next one I'm going to mention is Books for Days Crate by Imagine Bookshops. This one usually is one that does not offer book club subscriptions, but rather is a shop that you can go to purchase beautiful special edition books. However, they are running a yearly subscription where it takes place over just 1 year, and you can pick out there's 3 of them that are coming up for next year, and so they've already released what all of the books are going to be, so you can kind of pick and choose which one you might be interested in. These are going to be a year of Rena Kent and a year of Elise Kova, and there is a 3rd one, which I will post up on here so you can see what it is. These ones offer very specific books throughout the year. So rather than your traditional subscription where you are not sure what book you are going to be getting every month, and it is an indefinite subscription, this is only a 1-year subscription for these specific books listed here. And with that, we are going to jump back over to one of the very popular book club subscription services known as Owlcrate. Owlcrate is a US-based subscription service, which is really great for us US customers because we don't have to pay for international shipping. Yes! We love the UK for starting this wonderful trend of all of these beautiful books with sprayed edges, but sometimes the shipping costs are a little bit pricey. So let's go ahead and get started with what Owlcrate has to offer. Owlcrate has done a great job of stepping up and raising the bar of the expectations of their books. They have begun decking out their books with the sprayed edges and the printed inside covers and redoing the covers of the book, giving you a nice book cover and also embossing on the book, hardback copybook itself. So you're going to get a completely decked out book every single month. They have 2 main subscriptions right now. They have their YA and their adult. As of right now, their YA subscription for their book only and their book and goodies is actually open. They are one of the only companies that offer a monthly service of special edition books that currently has any space available, which is absolutely amazing. Their adult subscription, however, is waitlisted, so go ahead and hop on that if you're interested. So let's go ahead and look at what the Owlcrate picks have been for the young adult and the adult over the last year. For the young adult subscription, we have A Fragile Enchantment, Heartless Hunter, The Last Blood Carver, Your Blood, My Bones, Song of the Six Realms, Of Jade and Dragons, Sleep Like Death, Castle of the Gothic Romance, At the End of the River Styx, and coming out in October and November, we have Immortal Dark for October, and November we know is For She Is Wrath. We don't know the December pick yet for Owlcrate. Now for the adult side, The Sins on Their Bones, Bride, Warm Hands of Ghosts, The Longest Autumn, Evocation, Foul Days, The Spell Shop, A Sorceress Comes to Call, Lady Macbeth, The Stars Are Dying is coming out in October next month, and The Courting of Bristol Keats. Now if you sign up now within the next week, you're going to get the September box. If you sign up after that, you'll be getting the October box. And of course, if you sign up much further in the future, just make sure you check so you know which month and which box you are going to be getting, whether it's the current month or the next month. Usually once you pass about the 15th of the month, you start getting the boxes for the next month, so the current one that you're in. Now, if you break down these books, you end up getting in the LBGTQ category 3 out of 11 for young adult and 2 out of 11 for adult. Romance tag, 11 out of 11 for young adult and 9 out of 11 for adult. The mythology tag, 3 out of 11 for young adult and 2 out of 11 for adult. Sci fantasy tag, 0 out of 11 for young adult and 4 out of 11 for adult. The dark or gothic tag, you get 3 out of 11 for young adult and 4 out of 11 for adult. Asian literature is 1 out of 11 for YA and 0 out of 11 for adult. The tag of witches is going to be 1 out of 11 for young adult and 2 out of 11 for adult. So you can see that there is still a very heavy influence on romantasy in this category. Now, some of these you can tell are a little bit more romance leaning because they have all of the romance tags. They have romance, romantic fantasy, and romantasy, and almost all the tags have to do with romance. And then there are others that are less heavily romance leaning, where maybe they have a romance subplot in them, where they still have the romantasy tag, but they have a lot of other tags such as high fantasy and mystery and cozy and other tags like that. So let's go ahead and talk about price. The price for the YA book only is $26.99 plus shipping. There is also a book and goodies that you can get for $35.99 plus shipping. There is a small discount for buying more than 1 month at a time. For the adult book boxes, the book only is $28.99 plus shipping. Owlcrate also has a very generous skip policy where you can basically just skip an unlimited amount of times, which is great to make sure that you don't receive a book that you're really not interested in. Owlcrate also has really great customer service. I signed up for their young adult subscription and I wanted the October box, and then I realized I was going to be getting the September box, which was the book I was really not interested in. I emailed them the same day. It was early on a Friday evening. Actually, it was late on a Friday evening. And by around about 10 o'clock the next day on Saturday, they had already responded and said that they went ahead and canceled my order and that I could go ahead and sign back up for the next month as long as there was no wait list, which I was incredibly impressed by, with very, very fast turnaround and very courteous customer response. Some big news for Owlcrate is that they are going to be introducing 4 new quarterly subscriptions. They are going to be introducing a romance subscription, a sci-fi subscription, a horror subscription, and a romantasy subscription. So I have already signed up for the sci-fi waitlist. You can go onto their website right now, and if you are interested in any of those, they are coming out next year. The first one will be out in the spring of next year, and you can get on the waitlist for those, and hopefully you'll be able to hop on that when they open up. Right now we're going to go over a few more lesser-known book box subscriptions. First is Page and Wick. This one is a book box subscription that comes out of the UK, and they only offer one subscription type, and that is going to be your book plus your candle, hence the name Page and Wick. They also ship all over the world, so they ship to all the UK and also the United States and Canada. A couple of the books that they have come out with recently, in September, they came out with Flame and Sparrow, which has the romantasy, mythology, gods, magic, and fae tags. And in November, they're coming out with Sorceress Comes to Call, which is definitely one that I'm interested in. And the tags are horror, fantasy, adult, fairy tales, and retelling. These books are $30. You can get the book only, or you can get the book and the candle. And the book and the candle is 35 pounds. Sorry, not dollars. The book only is 30 pounds plus shipping. And there is 35 pounds for the book and the candle. And there is no specified skip amount, so I'm pretty sure that you have unlimited skips with this one as well. The next one I want to cover real quick is the Midnight Whispers box and the Roses and Thorns box. These are produced by the same company. Midnight Whispers is a fantasy and paranormal romance book box subscription. This one also has no wait list. And the Roses and Thorns is all about romance. So that is going to not specifically be romantasy, but all romance genres. A couple of the books that they have come out with recently are in August. They did Reign of Shadows and Storm of Secrets and Sorrows. This one is interesting because this book box subscription comes out with a duology. They more focus on duologies, and you get 2 books a month instead of 1. Which means that naturally their price is a little bit higher, being $78 for 2 books. And in September, they came out with The Coven and The Cursed. They do offer other merchandise on their website, and they do offer books that you can buy directly off of their website as well, just like Owlcrate does and Illumicrate does. The next one we're going to talk about is The Locked Library. This one is a little bittersweet for me because I was looking through all of the books that they offered, and they tend to be a little bit more heavily fantasy leaning instead of what we've been seeing with the trends lately with romantasy leaning. And I was going to sign up for them because they also do not have a wait list. However, they do not ship to the United States and Canada, and my heart was broken. I was so sad. So that's probably why they don't have a wait list. So for everybody else in Europe, the Locked Library might be your go-to if you're a fantasy lover. Some of the books that they have come out with over the last year are Babel, Compass and Blade, What Monstrous Gods, Silence Factory, Moonstone, When the Moon Hatched, Bad Graces, The Spice Gate, Hex and Hexability, and in October, The Bell Witches. This one is a monthly subscription that costs £22 that focuses on new fantasy. You get a decked out book and one sticker. You can also pay quarterly for £60. However, if you pay quarterly, you cannot skip any of your book boxes. But if you pay monthly, then you can skip. Now we are going to go back to one of the very, very popular book club subscriptions. We're going to talk about Fairy Loot. Fairy Loot also offers a lot of different subscriptions. They offer their young adult and their adult fantasy books. You can also get book and goodies, or you can get book only subscriptions. All of these options and all of their subscriptions are waitlisted and have a several months long wait list on them. This is also a book club subscription service that comes out of the UK but does offer US shipping. The prices are listed here. So you can see that the young adult plus items is $35.90. The young adult book only is $25.90. The adult book only is $28. The romantasy book only is $29. The young adult and adult book combo is $49.90, which is a $4 savings. But the adult, young adult, and romantasy combo is $82.90, which for some reason offers no savings. They did announce also that they are going to be coming out with their Epic Fantasy quarterly subscription, which I am on the wait list for, hoping to get in, because Epic Fantasy is my jam. That's exactly what I am looking for. Now let's take a look at some of the books that they have come out with over the last year to see if this might be the subscription service for you. For the adult, we have City of Stardust, A Fate Inked in Blood, A Feather So Black, Evocation, The Honey Witch, The God and the Gumiho, The Night Ends with Fire, Long Live Evil, The Gods Below, Sorcery and Small Magic, and in November, The Teller of Small Fortunes. In the Fairy Loot Young Adult books that have recently come out, let's go ahead and check those out. We have A Fragile Enchantment, A Tempest of Tea and Blood, The Crimson Moth, Darker by Four, The Temptation of Magic, The Darkness Within Us, Sleep Like Death, The Girl with No Reflection, The Dagger and the Flame, Air, and in November, For She is Wrath. What this basically boils down to is that for the LBGTQ tag, for young adult, you have 2 out of 11 and 5 out of 11 for adult. For the romance tag, you have 11 out of 11 for young adult and 11 out of 11 for adult. For the mythology tag, you have 2 out of 11 for young adult and 1 out of 11 for adult. For the sci-fi tag, you have 0 out of 11 for young adult and 2 out of 11 for adult. For the dark and gothic tag, you have 0 out of 11 for young adult and 2 out of 11 for adult. For the urban tag, you have 1 out of 11 for young adult and 3 out of 11 for adult. For witches and vampires, you have 2 out of 11 for young adult and 1 out of 11 for adult. So again, they do seem to be more heavily leaning on the romance tag, as is very, very popular. But you do get a few more urban fantasies in this one than you do in the others, and the witches and vampires tag came up a little bit more often as well. This one has a little bit less of a generous skip policy. You only get 2 skips per year, which means that if some of these books are not what you're looking for, then you might end up having to pay for a book that you're not very interested in. They also focus on, just like Illumicrate and Owlcrate and a lot of the others, they focus on new releases, new books that are coming out. Right now we're going to go over a few more lesser known book boxes. Fae Crate is a book box subscription, and they do not completely deck out their whole book. They focus mostly on fantasy and sci-fi, and what you get is a hardback book with a signature and a redesigned cover, and some page end artwork. They allow 3 skips per year, which is a little bit better than Fairy Loot, but not quite as good as Owlcrate and Illumicrate and some of the others. You can get the book and goodies box for $35, the book goodies and the shirt for $46.11, or the shirt only for $17.76. So that is something a little bit more unique about them. Not all of these book boxers offer shirts. They also are one of the only book box subscriptions that I've seen that offer no book only subscription. Instead, they have a shirt-only subscription. Some of the books that they have come out with recently are Reign of Shadows and Endings, King of Hell, A Bright Heart, Until the Stars Fall, A Crane Among Wolves, and in September and October we have Blood and Brujas and Blood of the Old Kings. So this book box subscription is more fantasy and sci-fi leaning. This one also has no wait list, so if that is something that you are interested in checking out, now is a good time. The next box is the Bookish Box and the Darkly Box. Both of them are put out by the Bookish Box. The Bookish Box focuses on new adult fantasy, while the Darkly Box focuses on adult romance. However, the Bookish Box does heavily lean towards romantasy. With this one, you can get the box, the shirt, and the goodies for $62. You can get the book and the goodies for $48, and you can get the book only for $38. So they are a little bit more pricey than some of the other options. Some of the books that they have come out with recently are How Does It Feel?, Flame and Sorrow, White Horse, and Black Knights. These books are going to be completely decked out, just like Illumicrate and Owlcrate and Fairy Loot. So if you're looking for special edition books, this is another great one as well, especially if you're interested in more of the romantasy side of things. The next book club we're going to be talking about is the Butterfly Book Club. This one also comes out of the UK, but they do offer shipping to the United States and Canada. This one is interesting, and they are unique in that they focus on indie-based authors, which I think is really great, that there is a book box subscription service out there that is helping indie authors get seen and get heard. You are going to get a book-exclusive design, and you're going to be added to a book club for discussion, which is something that is unique amongst all of the book club services. What you get in your box is your book, a signed book plate, a bookmark, a letter from the author, a read-along card, and a mystery item based on the book. They offer 0 skips. So if that's something that's a little bit off-putting to you, that is something to look out for. Now we're going to talk about the broken binding. The broken binding. I love the broken binding. I think that they have some of the most gorgeous books, but their wait list, oh my goodness. They recently opened up their waitlist to the United States and Canada, which I think is fantastic, because about a year ago I was trying to get on their subscription service and they didn't ship to the United States and Canada, and you couldn't buy their books if they just didn't ship. So you couldn't buy their books from their shop either. And so now they do, which is fantastic. Good for them. Yay! But their waitlist is a little bit ridiculous. They have 2 tiers. Tier 1, which you can't even get on, is going to be a signed and numbered copy of the book, a little bit more artwork that's in your box. It's a little bit more pricey. Tier 2, which is what you get on the wait list for, you still get the fully decked out book, you just don't get your book signed and it's not numbered. However, the wait list for Tier 2, I recently signed up at the beginning of the month, and I requested to know what my number was, which is really great that the customer service will let you know what number they are, what number you are on the wait list. It took them almost a week to get back to me, which is different from Owlcrate, which took a day, and Illumicrate, which took 2 days. Now, my wait list number is 2,100. And this is just crazy because the broken binding, and it breaks my heart because I want to be on the broken binding subscription service, and this is why. They focus on real fantasy, not romantasy. They have a very heavy focus on epic fantasy. They do trilogies. So instead of getting a new release book every month, they focus on backlisted fantasy, series that have already been completed. They announce the trilogy that they are going to be releasing for the next 3 months. And then over those 3 months, you get the first, the second, and the third book, which I think is just wonderful because then you have a whole trilogy, a complete story, a complete set, and they're all matching and they're all gorgeous. This is something that I am super interested in and I have a high desirability for, but it looks like it's going to be a year or 2 maybe on their wait list. I recently listened to a YouTube video where she said that she had to wait a year to get onto the broken binding subscription. So I'm hoping that they can get through all of those within a year because they don't add new people to their service every month. They only add new people in between trilogies, which means that only about 4 times a year are they adding new people onto their actual subscription service from the wait list. And I don't know how many people get on in between each trilogy. Canceling is a little bit harder with them as well, whereas with all of these other book club subscription services, you can pretty much cancel any time in any month. The Broken Binding is a little different because they do focus on trilogies. They want you to go ahead and do your canceling in between trilogies. They ask that you commit to the whole trilogy and you decide if you don't want it before the trilogy has come out. You can cancel in between the trilogies, like during a trilogy, but it's quite a bit more complicated, and I believe it involves shipping back the copies that you already have of your first or second books. It's just easier to go ahead and finish out the whole trilogy before you're ready to cancel. Now, as far as their skip policy is concerned, you are only allowed 1 skip per year, but that does translate into 3 books. So it is possible that you will get 1 or 2 trilogies that you maybe are not so interested in. So that is something to definitely keep an eye out for. So what kind of books have they come out with? Well, in 2022, which was their first year, they did the First Law trilogy, the Winnowing Flame trilogy, and the Lacanius trilogy. In 2023, they did Age of Madness trilogy, the Tide Child trilogy, the Chronicles of the Beep Queen Powder Mage trilogy, and in 2024, they did the Hanged God trilogy, the Green Bone saga, the Gentleman Bastards trilogy, and what they're coming out with now for September or October, November, December is the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn trilogy by Tad Williams. These books are absolutely gorgeous, and I think that they are definitely above and beyond and one of the highest quality books that you can see. They do also offer several different options that you can get in their Dragon's Hoard for fantasy or in their To the Stars for sci-fi. So they do come out with special editions of other books, and any overstock will end up in there as well. Overstock traditionally happens with all of these companies when their subscribers skip, and then they have extra copies that they then put in their bookshop that you can buy. Now there's 2 more book club books that I want to run over with you very quickly because they are, at least one of them is very well known. The Book of the Month is a book club that has been going on for forever and ever and ever, and I've saved these 2 for last because they are quite different from all of the others. These 2, they do not offer completely decked out and beautiful books either, but what they do is they offer you a variety of books that you can choose from. Typically, they offer 5 to 7 books in a month, and you can choose one of them to keep and get a hardback copy of. These ones are also going to be new release focused. And so the Book of the Month is great because they have just added an audiobook section that you can use your credit for. They also offer lots of different rewards in Book of the Month, which is something that is not seen in a lot of the other book club subscriptions. So after you've been there for a year, you can start earning free books, which is pretty cool. Aardvark is a book club subscription service that is very similar to Book of the Month, where they do a lot of the same thing, where they offer you 5 to 7 books a month, and then you can use your credit to choose one. In these, if there is one that you don't want, you can roll your credits over. I know Aardvark doesn't allow you to lose any of your credits that you have paid for. And so that is fantastic. So you can then use your credits to go into their store of past book boxes and past picks, and you can choose from there as well. So something that we need to know and we need to discuss about all of these book club boxes is that a lot of them operate on the theme subscription, which basically means you do not know what book you are going to be getting the next month until they release it. They will give you a theme. So for October, it is Colors of Magic for Illumicrate. And they will also list kind of what is in the book, some of the trigger warnings, so that you can get an idea if this is something that you are interested in. All of their items in their book box will also be curated towards a specific theme. Almost every single one of these book boxes that we have talked about today operate on this idea of a theme. The ones that operate on a theme are Illumicrate, Locked Library, Fairy Loot, Owl Crate, Bookish Box, Darkly Box, Once Upon a Book Club, Butterfly Book Club, Fae Crate, Page and Wick, Midnight Whispers. And the ones where you get to pick a book is Book of the Month and Aardvark. Now the other thing is that there are books where there are book box subscriptions where they deck out your book, and there are book box subscriptions where they do not. The ones where you get a special edition beautiful copy is Obsidian Descension, Broken Binding, Illumicrate, Locked Library, Fairy Loot, Owl Crate, Bookish Box, Darkly Box, Fae Crate, Page and Wick, and Midnight Whispers. The ones where they do not deck out your book are going to be Once Upon a Book Club, Book of the Month, and Aardvark. And then there are the book club subscriptions where They offer you book only, or they offer you book and goodies. Now, a lot of these ones that I've listed in the book and goodies box, in the book and goodies section, also give you an option to purchase just the book only. The ones where it's book and goodies are Illumicrate, Autumn Midnight, Fairy Loot, Owl Crate, Fae Crate, the Bookish Box, the Darkly Box, Once Upon a Book Club. The ones where they only offer you a book and they do not offer you goodies are going to be Midnight Whispers, The Locked Library, The Broken Binding, Book of the Month, and Aardvark. And then also I've kind of put Page and Wick in its own category because they offer you a book and a candle, which is really not a book and a goodie box or just a book only. It's a book and a candle. So there's Page and Wick. All right, now I want to go through my final thoughts and discussion here. So let's talk about, now that we know all of these subscription services, what do I do with this information and how do I choose a service? So first, you're going to look at your location. Where do you live in the world and do they ship to you? And if they do ship to you, but you do not live in the country that they originate from, you should probably go check out their website and see what the international shipping costs are going to be, because they do usually have those listed for all of the countries that they ship to. This is going to be an important factor for people who are interested in budgeting. Everything costs money, and we want to make sure that our dollars are going to where we would like them to go. Another thing that you want to pay attention to is, what kind of books are you interested in? So if you are largely interested in sci-fi, you're not going to want to sign up for a romantasy subscription. And you're going to want to get on some of these specialty subscriptions. Make sure you go over and you look through what books have been released and what you're interested in. Are you interested in young adult books? You might want to sign up for the young adult subscription. Are you more interested in adult books? You might want to sign up for the adult subscription. If you're really finicky about that and you absolutely don't want to read young adult, then I wouldn't sign up for some of these other ones like Illumicrate, who don't offer an adult-only subscription, because they do intersperse YA and adult throughout their year. The third thing that I think is really, really important to look at is the skip policy. How interested are you, or rather, how picky are you in your reads? If you will just consume everything and you want to know everything and you want to get your fingers, dip your toes in all sorts of different styles and, different tags and different tropes, and, you want to do dark fantasy and you want to do romantasy and you want to do vampires and you want to do mythology and you want to do Asian literature and you want to do dragons, you want it all, then the skip policy is not going to be something that is as important to you. And so maybe Fairy Loot and some of these others that have more stringent skip policies are going to be just fine. But if you're like me and you're a little bit more picky in what you want to read, then having something with a much more generous skip policy like Illumicrate and Owlcrate is going to be something that's very, very important, because I don't want to spend upwards of $40 on a book that I have absolutely no intention or desire to read. The other thing that you have to decide is, do you want just the book or do you want the book and the stuff? For me, I'm really just interested in the book because I have stuff and I'm not interested in just trinkets and quirky things and mug collections and little planter pots and I have some bookmarks, and a bookmark is great, but I don't need 5,000 bookmarks. And so I am really just interested in the book only, which is great because the book only subscription is often quite substantially cheaper. The other thing, and my last tip that I have for you, is if you're not sure, just sign up for the wait list and decide later. Almost every single one of these book box subscriptions is waitlisted, except for a very few that I have mentioned. And I will pop those up here on the screen, just to remind you which ones those are. So go ahead and sign up for the wait list. Most likely you're going to be waiting several months anyway, and during that time you can decide if this is something that you well and truly are interested in. Alternatively, you can skip the book box subscriptions altogether, and you can just go ahead and purchase from a lot of these websites store. Most of these subscription services offer extra special edition books that have previously been released, whereas their subscription service is more focused on new releases. Their special edition service in their shop is more focused on backlisted fantasy novels. And so that might also be something that you could be interested in as well, because then you know that you're going to get a book that you like. Which brings me to my story about the Shadow and Bone trilogy that I bought. This story is about why do I want to spend money on a book that I don't know if I'm going to like or not? Well, I personally will not buy a copy of a book that I have already read, because I have discovered this about myself. I do not reread books very often. And so if I'm going to buy a book, if it's something that I have already read, it's most likely not going to get read. I want it to be something that I haven't read. So if I'm going to spend my money on a special edition of something, whether it be a subscription or off of their website, you are taking a chance. You are spending a larger amount of money on a book that you have not read, unless you absolutely need to have a special edition of your favorite book. Which brings me to this. This is not a special edition, but what this is I absolutely love the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I read this, I rented it from the library. I borrowed it from the library, I read through it, I absolutely loved it. And then I found this actually at Costco. And I was like, I am going to get this because I absolutely loved this trilogy. It's been 3 years later, and this trilogy has not been removed from the case because I had already read it, and I'm not going to reread it right now because I am really busy reading a lot of other new things. And so that brings me to my point of, yes, you are taking a chance on some of these books, but with the skip policy, it does help you to kind of wean things out. The other thing that is super, super important that I need to mention is the Instagram webpage from Autumn Book Reads. So if book club subscriptions like this are something that you're interested in, you have to go check out the Autumn Book Reads Instagram page, because she goes through all of these book box subscriptions and she takes their hints and she guesses every book. That's how I got the October and November and December books for Illumicrate and Owl Crate and Fairy Loot, is because she has already guessed and told us what those books are going to be. And now her guesses, I guess, are not 100% guaranteed, but she is correct almost 100% of the time. She is very, very good. She posts all the time, and you can get lots of great information about if the book that's coming up on your book club subscription is something that you are actually going to want. And the last thing that I want to talk about is that there's a lot of people that see all of these new book box subscriptions coming out and they say, oh my goodness, there's so many of them. And they say the market is too saturated. They're going to go out of business. They're spinning themselves and they're digging themselves a hole, right? And my response to that is almost every single one of these book box subscriptions, especially the ones that offer special editions, are waitlisted. So I really don't think that the market is necessarily oversaturated. I think that we just need to make sure that that the companies are focusing on giving us good quality books for the money that we are spending, as their subscriptions are often quite high, and they are a lot more than just picking up a digital copy or even just a hardback copy at the store. With almost every single one of them being waitlisted, I think that there's still opportunity for growth, and I would like to see a lot of these companies grow and be able to open up more spots on their website. Thank you for watching, and I hope that this helped you. Drop me a comment down below if you have discovered your favorite book club subscription service and which one you're going to sign up for. And if you liked this, please like and subscribe, because very soon I am going to come up with a companion video about your ultimate guide to buying special edition books. There are a lot of companies out there that I didn't get to mention today because they are not subscription-based services, but they do offer beautiful and gorgeous special edition books that you can buy directly off of their website without having to pay for a subscription. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.